Hello and welcome to the KG2 to Grade 1 transition video. My name is Michael Hughes. I am the PYP coordinator at the Woodleigh campus and I hope to help you answer these two questions today. First of all, what is the PYP and how are KG2 and Grade 1 alike and different? Actually, there's lots of similarities between KG2 and Grade 1 and I hope to point all of those out today. This image shows the PYP programme, which stands for the Primary Years Programme, and primary here is just another word for elementary. Okay, so it's like the Elementary Years Programme. It's an international baccalaureate curriculum framework, and here you can see how it feeds in to the middle school and the high school. So from kindergarten to grade 5, students are part of the PYP. When they move into the middle school, they are part of the middle years programme. And when they move into high school, they start to study the diploma programme. We'll have a look at focusing on the PYP today. You can see that it's got lots of elements to the PYP, lots of different parts to the model. So I'd like to just start at the centre and move out and talk about how these connect to grade 1 and in particular the transition from kindergarten. So we can start at the beginning or at the centre of the model with the IB learner profile. Now these attributes on the left hand side are probably not unfamiliar to you because these are part of the kindergarten curriculum as well. So in all of the students' interactions with each other and interactions with the curriculum, we try to develop them as inquirers, knowledgeable, open-minded, etc. So this is the shared language of learning that we use right across the school, from kindergarten to high school. In terms of approaches to teaching, the PYP uses 4 main approaches. We use guided inquiry, we use independent inquiry, direct teaching, and play-based learning. So kindergarten will also use all of these strategies. However, in kindergarten, there may be more emphasis on play-based learning. Although students will have opportunities for play-based learning, in grade 1, there is more emphasis on guided inquiry, where teachers pose questions for students to investigate, and on some direct teaching, where specific skills are targeted and content is targeted, as well as some independent inquiry. In terms of approaches to learning, again, these are the same skills that we aim to develop in kindergarten. However, in grade 1, we try to make them aware of the skills and we notice and name those skills. So the first 3 on the list here, social, communication and self-management, a lot of those are developed in social, emotional contexts and daily interactions with each other and adults, and the thinking and research skills are developed more in the academic side of the programme. In the PYP, in terms of teaching and learning, there is a focus on agency and action, and that means that we try to offer opportunities for students to have some choice and voice in their learning, hoping that that will increase the ownership. So for instance, in grade 1, when they are learning how to write personal narratives, or they are learning how to write information texts, students will learn the same skills, but they will have more choice and voice in terms of the content, so they may choose what to write about. On the model here it does say exhibition, but the exhibition is something that we lead towards in grade 5 when they have some independent inquiries. It's not something that we have in grade 1. Okay, the PYP actually identifies 7 areas, 7 subject areas, and these are the same 7 subject areas that we have in in kindergarten 2 as well. Okay, so math and language, science, social studies, the arts, PE, and our social emotional health. We have the same standards that we have in kindergarten 2. So the standards and the content and skills and knowledge that students will learn in grade 1 build directly on the standards that they were learning in kindergarten 2. Those standards that you can see on the left hand side there, AERO, which is short for American Education Reaches Out, they are standards that have come from the United States of America, since we are an American international school. Okay, the big difference between kindergarten 2 and grade 1 is that in grade 1 they will study 6 units of inquiry. Okay, so in kindergarten 1 they studied 4 units, in kindergarten 2 they studied 5. Now moving forward from grade 1 to grade 5 they will study 6 units of inquiry in a year, and these units are transdisciplinary, meaning that knowledge and skills from more than one subject area is developed within that unit of inquiry. So in this outer ring on the model here, you can see starting from the top, sharing the planet, and then moving clockwise we have where we are in place and time, how we express ourselves, how the world works, who we are, and how we organise ourselves. They are the titles of the units. So for instance, in grade 1, when they look at how the world works, they will study forces and motion, and they will have opportunities to learn some scientific content and some mathematical content in there in terms of some measurement and working with some of those numbers there. So that's the PYP model in a nutshell. It is an international curriculum framework, and that means that although we do use American standards, we try to approach the units from a local perspective as well as a global perspective. So we will be looking to try and make real world connections to our own local environment, and that increases our students' international mindedness. I'll give you a little overview of the reading and writing workshop model and our approach to literacy. It is the same approach to literacy as the students have been learning in kindergarten 2. They develop reading, writing, word skills, as well as their phonics. On the right hand side there, you can see how a typical reader's workshop, but also a writer's workshop, will be broken up. We would start with the students sitting together, gathered together on the carpet in a mini lesson, and the teacher then would be introducing and demonstrating skills. That lasts around about 10 to 15 minutes, and the majority of the lesson, as you can see in this chart, the majority of the workshop is for students to be doing some independent work. And as the students are working independently, the teacher and the teaching assistants are rotating, working with students. There may be some independent work, there may be some small strategy group work where certain skills are targeted. There could be some guided reading, some book clubs, but students generally build up their stamina so that they're able to work for a longer period of time than they would have in kindergarten 2. And we hope by the end of the year that the students are able to sustain their stamina for around about 40 minutes of independent work. Mathematics in the PYP, again the PYP is part of KG2, so the mathematics approach is not very different. We do not use one specific textbook, but teachers will plan experiences and activities in order to give students opportunities to construct meaning, and that means that they will be observing, they will be modelling, students will be drawing, they will be playing with manipulatives, they will be handling cubes, counters, real objects, they will be playing games. We also plan opportunities for students to transfer that meaning to symbols. So this is more of the traditional type of mathematical activity, more of the traditional pencil and paper activities, where students learn a variety of strategies. They learn how to represent that in writing and symbols. They work on their procedural fluency, their number facts. They're moving on to like the times tables, the number bonds, etc. And that requires deliberate practice, and the deliberate practice can be in the form of manipulatives and games, as well as pencil paper activities. Okay, we also plan opportunities for the students to apply their knowledge, and they apply their knowledge by making connections between mathematical concepts, by solving problems, and by connecting their knowledge and skills to the real world. So we give them real world math practice. And we hope that this combined approach, this mixed approach, will lead to a deeper conceptual understanding that goes beyond learning mathematical facts. Mathematical facts and procedural fluency is very important, but we hope that they can have that conceptual, long-lasting understanding. And it's the same approach as grade 2. It's a balanced approach in terms of we have 5 strands or domains of mathematics: numbers and operations, pattern and function, statistics and data, geometry and measurement. And that again continues on from the work they did in KG2. We have the same Aero standards. Now we're moving them on for the deeper understanding. If your child is part of the Mandarin bilingual program, they will follow the same grade level curriculum as the other homeroom teachers and homeroom students, but it will be from a trans-languaging approach. We follow a trans-language approach, which means that there is switching between English and Mandarin in the classroom. And you can see the numbers on those last 2 bullet points there. Roughly 50% of math instruction is spent in Mandarin, 50% in English, and a minimum of 40% of the unit of inquiry is discussed and spent in Mandarin. Some information on the assessments that students will take next year. They will start the MAP, Math and Reading assessments, and we do those twice a year in fall and spring. MAP stands for Measure of Academic Progress, and those are external assessments that allow us to have a look at data across the school and beyond and compare to some normed data. Fontes and Pinnell reading, just as they did in KG2, these are the running records that the students will take 3 times in a year, reading to the teacher, and that it is to assess their reading fluency and comprehension. They will also have some on-demand writing samples in which they will draft, edit, plan writing samples 3 times a year as well. The phonics work continues from KG2, and you will be able to see regular reflections from Seesaw that they use on the iPads, which they have also been developing in KG2. So there's not much change there. A few extra assessments. Here you can see a sample timetable from grade 1. The yellow blocks indicate when students are with specialists, and the white blocks indicate when they are with their homeroom teacher. It's important to note that the timetables do have a certain degree of flexibility to them, so units of inquiry and language arts, they may not be always in the same spot in the day, but this indicates the time that we allocate for the different subjects. Finally, if there are any other questions that you have about general day-to-day in grade 1 or about the curriculum, please do not hesitate to get in touch with any of the people you see on the screen here. Claire Johnson is our principal, Mark Williams and Xiomara Cruz, the deputy principals of elementary, and there's me, the PYP coordinator, so any curriculum matters I'm happy to help with. Okay, I hope this was useful, and we look forward to working with you next year, and more importantly, working with your children. Thank you.